Hey, KBLA 1580 delegation, your health matters to us. We know that information is power, especially when it comes to prevention and treatment. That's why we're proud to introduce the brand new KBLA Health and Wellness Hub. This online space is built just for you, connecting our community to trusted health resources, culturally relevant care, and even access to diverse clinical trials and emerging therapies. Whether you're looking for information on common conditions, mental health support, or just want to stay on top of your wellness journey, we got you. And the best part, it's all on our website at KBLA1580.com. Accessible, empowering, community-focused. So just go to KBLA1580.com and click on the Health and Wellness Hub icon, because knowledge is power and your health is everything. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Look, me versus you and you know they picking. Cheap and expensive, you know the difference. You know that it's hitting, you know what it's giving. Hair, nails, butter, bear. I can survive in the coldest conditions. Smell all day, come when they spin. Just wash, soap in the dishes. I apply pressure like boa constrictors. New, dirty, I'm not gon' do. I'm in Miami, I pull up on cruise ship. You in Miami for also root. When I step the stampede, put on neck, can't breathe. Lucky charm, Van Cleave, diamonds on, I see my eye, link it up. I'm like, what? If you scared, then just say that. Enough is enough. There was just in my DM, take no trust in this. I'm about to call up diamond. Enough if you link it up. I'm like, what? If you scared, then just say that. Enough is enough. There was just in my DM, take no trust in this. I'm about to call up diamond. Enough if you fuck. I'm like, ooh, child, cool down, too hot, too wild.
Welcome in. You are locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. This is the spot and the time where you get all your trending topics and headlines. Of course, with me, Jill. And, it's Wednesday. We got a lot on our plate tonight. So much, right? Starting with, it's Wednesday, so we're going to get all up in the business with Damon Haley. We'll get into that in a minute. But topics-wise, and shame on me for not putting my phone on silent, but some people are just active in that way. We are getting into this young lady, because Andy is always on theme. Cardi B has an album dropping 2 days for today, and surprise, she dropped some news on us that many have been speculating about for months. So we're going to talk a little bit about the sophomore jinx. Is it a thing? We're going to talk about the rollout of Cardi's album. And does a fourth pregnancy in the mix alter anything with this rollout, with her plans, with how we view Cardi as an artist? We're going to get into that. We are also going to get into, there's been some updates for the David Tesla case. We talked a bit about that. There was a Tesla found in Hollywood owned by a viral TikTok R&B singer. I shouldn't call him that. He has 30 million Spotify listens a month. But there's some news, some details on the individual that was found in the trunk and some of the connections that the artist David has to this young lady. And we're also talking Steve Harvey. He has a stepdaughter, his daughter, who is in the public eye and has had some high-profile relationships. And so Steve discussed the impact those relationships have on him. And if there's time, I think it's Nick Cannon that we're going to get into. Nick had some revelations about his decision to have 12 kids and what he's finally realized about taking on fatherhood in that manner. I think it's an interesting conversation. But before we get into all of that, I like to start the evening with a couple of conversation starters to get some things going on. And tonight there's some big reveals, you know, a couple of truth bombs, some things happening. First up, I just left Disney and ABC, literally walking out the door before I came over here. And as I was walking out of the door, myself and a couple of other media members happened to look down and see the message that Jimmy Kimmel has been pulled off the air indefinitely. Now, you know, Jimmy hosts a late night show on ABC, and I guess, I'm not sure if it was last night or recently, he made some comments about, there's a little person that, you know, a lot of political individuals seem to be into some others, right, Charlie? We can get into the details of him another time, or you can listen to many of the numerous shows, because I'm not going to go into Charlie and my thoughts on that. We can have that conversation at another time, but we know how we feel here at KBLA.
Jill, we want you here, so refrain from any comments. We don't want what happened to Jimmy Kimmel to happen to you. So,
but we're with Tavis, so we gotta, you know.
We're not discussing that.
I know, I'm just. But listen, Jimmy's been pulled off the air indefinitely. His audio is floating around online. So as I said, this was happening as I was coming on my way to the studio, so I didn't pull the audio to play because we kind of already had the show set for the evening. But you can check it out and see how you feel about his comments. He is a late night comedian, talk show host, right? We make light of everything under those circumstances. And, you know, I didn't feel that it was inappropriate, but I'm just one individual. Obviously, someone else did, or, you know, there are some concerns. When we come forward, right, I'm going to, since it's business related, and we have Damon Haley in the studio, before we get into some of, you know, our other topics for the evening, I'm going to get DH's opinion on this, because I really feel as though what we are watching happening, the type of power that we are seeing wielded from the right, per se, from the White House in general, it's really interesting times. I don't think that we've ever seen a president yield his influence. And granted, ABC made that decision, but let's be clear about the political climate currently. I don't know if we've seen a president wield his power in such a way that, you know, America feels like another kind of country, you know? Not saying that there always haven't been repercussions for what you say, free speech, etc. Free speech doesn't mean no repercussions as such, but it's definitely a different tide now. So when we come forward, trending topics, all of that and more, you're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Your ride with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Why'd I go to the doctor?
Legal loopholes, for sale, legal loopholes, for sales, and systematic racism. What's been taken goes far beyond dirt and deeds. It's the erasure of wealth, identity, and legacy. That's why we've launched the Black Land Loss Narrative Archive Project, a national effort to collect, protect, and preserve the stories of Black land loss before they're buried, forgotten, or erased altogether. Because there's power in telling Black stories, there is resistance in remembering, and there's justice in being seen and heard. This is where you come in. We're inviting you to be a part of this historic Black narrative archive. If you or someone you know has experienced land loss, displacement, or forced property sales, your story deserves to be heard and remembered. Your story belongs in this archive. Your truth matters not just to your family, but to our collective future. Visit blacklandloss.org today. Fill out our simple intake form and add your voice to the National Archive of Remembrance, Resilience, and Reckoning. Let's make these stories live on, not in whispers, but on the record. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Dr. Nicolai Corte, and as always, we welcome your feedback.
Now back to more entertainment news with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. And, you know, First up, 800-920-1580 if you want to get in on the conversation. Download the app. Share your thoughts there. Got a little feature there where you could sound off or drop some messages, catch up on old episodes, not just mine, the full station. Hit us up on social media, KBLA 1580. I'm at Stiletto Jill everywhere. Or hop in the YouTube chat. They're already chatting because they're special like that, and we love our community there. All right, now, I already mentioned I'm not breaking down these topics alone tonight. I am joined by author, strategist, entrepreneur, owner of Glow and Flow, Inglewood, and Hawthorne. Slay Hair, 3 Ys, baby. Get into it. Damon Haley, welcome back, DH. How are you?
Hey, Mike and Video is hot.
Mike and Video is hot. And we're here with some hot topics tonight. Before I play the Kimmel clip, do you have any thoughts on kind of what's happening? We've seen, media be kind of pushed back. I saw there was a reporter that asked Trump a question surrounding, I can't remember what the exact question was, but I remember his response was basically, you seem like you're hating on me too. Maybe I should sue you. Remember, I just won $16 million from Paramount CBS. And I was just like, so unpresidential-like, but, do you have any thoughts you want to add?
Yeah, I think it's clear that we have a president-elect. That means most of the people in this country wanted that president. And then we have a gentleman who had a certain position about how he felt about people. And unfortunately, he was assassinated, shot and killed, and people love that guy. And so when you bring that president-elect with a well-loved, iconic future and representation of America, you just can't talk about them, or you're going to get fired. You're going to get attacked. And so that's what we're seeing. Jimmy Kimmel, he ain't free. He got a lot of liberties, but he's not free.
Right.
So that's to be a message to everybody. Andy was joking about, you being on air and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, everybody got to be careful with what they say about this situation, because regardless of what you feel, be careful what you say. Man,
these are facts. I mean, it is a different time. Mm-hmm. All right, let's jump into jump into the clip, and then we'll jump into the next topic. Let's hear what Jimmy had to say. What got him pulled off the air indefinitely.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them, and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half-staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty.
Yes. He's at the 4th stage of grief, construction. Demolition, construction. This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish, okay?
So, rather benign in the grand scheme of things, not directly about Charlie, but it was about Trump. So, listen, that's where we are with it. We'll see what happens next. Will Jimmy make it back on air? Will he be made to apologize and kiss the ring? Will his show just go away? Because that's another thing. Late night TV is not what it used to be either. So we'll have to see.
There's always YouTube.
There is always YouTube. But I mean, Jimmy's strength, live audience, different type of vibe, we'll see what develops. But again, it's all interesting.
So one additional scenario. We know that somebody produces that show. We know that someone produces that segment. So when that was written and pitched, people thought that would be a winner.
Yeah.
People, the team of people thought that was a good bit because Jimmy's just not doing it alone. So that's the real interesting thing, that there's a group of people who thought that that was acceptable, that does a great job every night and every night since Jimmy been doing it. But on whatever night that happened, it wasn't cool. So it's like, boom, indefinitely. So it's interesting to see because this one had to come from high up.
Right.
High up, like a one-on-one call, like, oh, yo, what's up with that? And we know that the high ups, they probably funded our president-elect. So that's the power of it, the true power. He just wasn't some dude on the side that you snubbing out. This was like a dude at the top of his game with a top show for a long time and a lot of people supporting him.
I mean, but we see the way that he's yielding and so forth. Remember, think about this. That Paramount, let me slow down, y'all. The Paramount merger could not take place until they settled their issues with Trump. Not that it was said on paper, but it was implied, it was felt, you know. After that was taken care of, after they agreed to, you know, resolve that and pay Trump X amount of dollars, then the merger with Skydance went through. And now everything is rolling, you know.
Yeah. And I think Trump's net worth is up $3 billion since he's been in office. So,
which is bananas.
Yeah. So
bananas.
He's different. He's different.
He is. So we'll see what comes from that. Okay. So on to some business, marketing, branding news. Listen, as I mentioned, Cardi B has a new album dropping on Friday, September 19th, Am I the Drama? And a tour that is launching in February 2026, Little Miss Drama. And for weeks and weeks, people have been speculating, is Cardi pregnant? Remember, she threw a pen at a reporter outside of the courthouse after she just won her most recent case against the woman who said that Cardi attacked her and spit on her during her first pregnancy at the doctor's office. She threw a pen at this reporter who asked her, was she pregnant? How did she feel about Offset saying, if she's pregnant, it's not mine? And basically, who the daddy, baby? Now, was it that individual's business? Was it a little crass the way that they approached her? Absolutely. But once again, you're living out loud. Every time we were expected to get an album during these past 8 years, a new baby popped up. And now look, we don't know how long you've been with Stefon Diggs. He of the New England Patriots. We don't know. We don't know when that started. And, you know, hey, technically, it's not our business. Stefon didn't have much commentary on it. He was asked by some reporters at practice, you know, about the new situation, the new addition to his family. And he was like, yeah, I heard something about that. And then kind of added, you know, I don't really talk about my personal life in interviews. So he skated over it. But Cardi's fans feel like that's a bad sign for Cardi. They feel like that, one, are you purposely sabotaging your career, Cardi? What's going on? You know, Andy's like, how? Because children are a blessing. They're always a blessing. But, and although the environment has changed, we've seen Sexy Red get pregnant in the middle of her run, have her baby, and I mean, she doesn't have quite the same momentum, but she still is in the game. Cardi obviously did it. We saw Beyonce do it. We've seen this happen. But let's be serious. Bringing a child in while you're actively on as a mother, right? Could be a father, but as a mother, it's going to put some additional strain on you as a performer, right? You're tired because you're taking care of a newborn. If you're breastfeeding, your energy's zapped too. Just there's a lot of things. And Cardi is, granted, been through this process 3 other times, most recently just last year, right? But she is newly divorced. Now we know her ex was in the streets, very active. So, you know, Cardi may or may not have gotten her lick back. We don't know. Not really our business. But from a branding perspective, pregnancy, I feel, has been a part of Cardi's brand since this kind of happened. And her fans kind of are in a weird place with her. You know, the tour should still move on, but she didn't give her exact due date when she dropped in with CBS This Morning with Gayle King to make the special announcement. But she said before the tour begins mid-February. So we got a few months, but her dude is also in season. We don't know what type of run they're going to go on this season. We're still early in. It's only week 2. Shout out to the Rams, y'all. We're undefeated. All right. Well, yeah, week 3 starts tomorrow, but it's Wednesday, so it's week 2. But DH, what do you think about this? As, you know, we've kind of evolved. Hip hop was one of the last spaces to kind of willingly accept pregnancy in as part of the brand. And we see, you know, Cardi's been everywhere with her little pop-up things, but do you think that with a new album and tour on the horizon, this is going to impact how she moves and her rollout?
I think it will impact it, to be honest. Everything you said is about motherhood, about your body recovering and all of that. But I don't think that she'll be adversely affected by it. I think that people still want more. When she starts shutting her life out, you know, that's her brand. It's like kind of Kardashian-y, if you will, to live 24/7 in front of the cameras, letting your fans know. I mean, it's not like she's a Whitney Houston in terms of, or Mariah with that voice where the energy takes away. She's not like Beyonce with the dance routines. She has a different type of entertaining. And I think that it's what she say, it's attacking reporters. She hasn't had to do, you know, like I said, 8 years since her last one. So she has other ways of captivating an audience, feeding the beast of fandom. So I think she'll be okay. And I think it's exciting.
Musically? Because I think she's okay over, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think she's okay overall. She's almost like, and I don't even know if this is a term, but I'm going to deem it as such, a rap influencer.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see her as like a musician, and maybe I'm missing that, but she hasn't done anything new in a long time, so she's a rap influencer. So she'll come on, she'll do her thing, we'll enjoy her music maybe, but more importantly, we'll enjoy her, and we'll plug into her journey, and we'll see how this pregnant woman is doing on tour, because nobody's ever done it before.
Well, she'll have had the baby by the time the tour starts. But I do think it is interesting you're doing this build-up. Dad's in New England. Granted, I don't know if Cardi is in Georgia or New York primarily, but it's just a lot, and it's still a new relationship as well, fresh off of a divorce, 3 kids, one that's just turned a year old. That's a lot of juggle.
She'll be okay.
And nothing to do with music. She will. Yeah, I think she'll be okay, but
well, what I mean by okay is this is all good stuff.
Because it keeps the conversation going.
It keeps her in conversation. So I think that she'll nanny up and all that kind of stuff. But all of this influx, that's what we've been getting every year out of her.
Yeah.
So it's kind of more, like I said, we still interested in her.
We are. But are we interested in her music? And I guess that's the bigger question for me, because Cardi is entertaining as heck. I think Cardi should be on her own sitcom or something, or if she wanted to do some type of reality show or whatever, it would be crazy. However, musically, I'm unsure, and I feel like the fans are too, because Outside and Imaginary Player, neither one did the thing. They had buzz, but not Cardi buzz, in my opinion, especially in anticipation for an album. So we'll see. Andy, you look like you got something to add.
I don't think she's ever going to reach Bodak Yellow status. So, you know, the bar that we have set for her, I think, is kind of high. I think we need to go ahead and lower that. And I think you guys pretty much kind of answered the question. I think musically, honestly, at this stage in entertainment, it really doesn't even matter. Her brand is so solidified, she could do whatever. And like you said, she was kind of popping online even before the music was. She was an influencer before that. So whatever it is that she does, people are gonna follow her. They're gonna rock with her. Her music can suffer. Maybe the touring will suffer. But as an artist, as just an entertainer, she's gonna be successful regardless. I don't think the pregnancy is gonna deter her in any kind of way.
All right. Well, look, when we come forward, we're going to get into the David story. We're going to let you know the identity of the individual that was found in that trunk and her connection to David. Plus, we're going to talk about Steve Harvey. He says that, it's kind of difficult for him with his daughter being in the public eye, making good money because, he befriends some of the men she dates and then he has to cut him off when she cuts him off. So we'll get into what he had to say and more trending topics and headlines. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Well, let's go wrong for wrong. Let's go leg for leg. If I can handle that, let me see you handle this. Do you how you do me? Bet you we won't speak again. Favorite player, find your favorite team. Here in my DM.
You're in the know with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker and Black Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson are blasting President Trump over his threat to send the National Guard to Chicago.
It has never come up. It never came up during the campaign. It's never come up in the first 2 years.
Johnson says no one asked for troops, while Pritzker accused Trump of, quote, losing it, end quote, and possibly suffering from dementia. Former President Barack Obama calls the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk a tragedy, saying political differences do not justify violence. Speaking in Pennsylvania, Obama said while he disagreed with Kirk's ideas, he was a young man with loved ones who are grieving and stressed democracy requires disagreement without violence. And rapper Cardi B revealed on CBS Mornings that she's expecting a baby with New England Patriots star Stefon Diggs. The news comes ahead of her new album, Am I the Drama, that releases Friday, and her Little Miss Drama tour in February. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
It's slowing right now out of Tustin on the 5 northbound. This is getting away from just about Sand Canyon as you continue all the way to the 55, where an earlier crash involving a car and a motorcycle is being cleared out of lanes. Beyond, you still have some crowded conditions towards Harbor and Anaheim. We're also looking at the drive on the 605 northbound out of Norwalk. Delays from the 105 freeway all the way to the 60. Santa Monica, eastbound side of the 10, loading up at Cloverfield all the way to the 5.
This season, San Diego is playing at home, and you are on the roster. Don't miss the Padres, Wave FC, San Diego FC, and the Blue Angels at the Miramar Air Show. Plan your trip now at sandiego.org/awesome all year. Funded in part with City of San Diego Tourism Marketing District Assessment Funds.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Chargers got some good news Wednesday morning concerning All-Pro linebacker Khalil Mack. The 34-year-old Mack will not miss the rest of the season after suffering an elbow injury in the first quarter of Sunday night's win at Las Vegas. The Chargers have yet to say how long Mack will be sidelined. The Chargers play their home opener Sunday against Denver at SoFi. UCLA interim football coach Tim Skipper met with the media for the first time Wednesday morning. The 47-year-old African-American, a native of New Orleans, was promoted on Sunday to replace Deshaun Foster. An 0-3 start prompted UCLA officials to fire Foster on Sunday. Skipper was an assistant at Fresno State before joining Foster's staff this season. UCLA has a bye this weekend. First game for Skipper as head coach is September 27th at Northwestern. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, KBLA 1580 delegation, your health matters to us. We know that information is power, especially when it comes to prevention and treatment. That's why we're proud to introduce the brand new KBLA Health and Wellness Hub. This online space is built just for you, connecting our community to trusted health resources, culturally relevant care, and even access to diverse clinical trials and emerging therapies. Whether you're looking for information on common conditions, mental health support, or just want to stay on top of your wellness journey, we've got you. And the best part, it's all on our website at KBLA1580.com. Accessible, empowering, community-focused. So just go to KBLA1580.com and click on the Health and Wellness Hub icon, because knowledge is power and your health is everything. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
Founded in Los Angeles in 1986, litigation powerhouse Quinn Emanuel has deep roots in the Los Angeles community. Since 2007, we have litigated some of the largest fires on the West Coast. We are proud to be the only AmLaw 100 firm in the country to represent wildfire victims, giving affected individuals, families, and businesses the same focus and individualized attention we devote to our Fortune 500 clients. BTI Consulting has repeatedly recognized Quinn Emanuel as among the 4 law firms in-house counsel least like to oppose in any litigation, and we are often deemed the most feared. And after securing over $80 billion for our clients in various matters firm-wide, we understand why. If you have been affected by the recent wildfires in Altadena and the Palisades and would like to discuss your situation further, please contact wildfire support at QuinnEmanuel.com or call us at 213-443-3050. Quinn Emanuel is proud to sponsor Conversation Live Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. If you need help getting your resume in order, finding job training, or landing a job, we've got 3 great options for you. First, the City of Los Angeles has WorkSource centers across the area offering free job support. The California Workforce Development Board can help you with everything from GED prep to vocational training at no cost to you. On the federal level, the Department of Labor's American Job Centers offer a full range of services for job seekers and businesses alike. Visit careeronestop.org, or for more info, just call California's Help Center or visit cwdb.ca.gov or call 916-657-1440. For the City of Los Angeles programs, go to ewdd.lacity.gov or call 213-744-7300. All these services are free to help you get your next job. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yes! Have you ever seen a show with fellas on the mic with 1 minute rhymes that don't come out right? They bite. They never write. That's not polite. Am I lying? No, you're quite right. Well, tonight, on this very mic, you're about to hear, we swear, the best star rappers of the year. So cheery up, yell, scream bravo. Also, if you didn't know, this is called the show.
Welcome back in. You are locked in with Jill Munroe. What? Put your ballies on. Yo, Rick, I was about to, but I need a shoehorn. Shout out to Dougie Fresh. Happy birthday, Dougie Fresh. The show dropped in what, 1984, I believe? I think it was 84. So shout out to Dougie Fresh.
And he looked the same.
Hitting that Dougie Fresh dance. Did he get his teeth fixed? I think he might have got his teeth fixed.
did.
That's just a sign. Okay. I thought I remembered that. I pay attention to that type of stuff sometimes, you know? So listen, we're back. We're back. So we're going to wrap on the Cardi B Stefon thing. The other thing that I should mention is Stefon is rumored to have had a new child with a woman, not sure if she was his girlfriend, just a passing through situation. This was a couple of months ago. You probably saw some back and forth in social media about it. He hasn't confirmed nor denied. It's just out there. And so, allegedly, you know, and that's when people thought Cardi and Stefon may have broken up for a bit. which I could see that being a little tense. You just had one, or one's pregnant and the other one's pregnant. Might be a little uncomfortable for some. But, and this too shall pass. Congratulations to Cardi and Stefon. We, want them to have an amazing birth. Amazing album release, Cardi. Good luck to you this season with the Patriots. I don't even pay attention to the Patriots anymore. Does anybody?
Nah.
Kind of lost the sizzle. Andy?
I'm a gambler, so
okay.
I'm paying attention to everybody and whatnot. Pay attention to the Patriots. They might not win many games.
Okay.
But I think they're gonna,
they'll be all right.
They're
Be
gonna
entertaining
be
to watch.
Stefon Diggs hasn't really been much this year, but like you said, it's only been 2 weeks in, so we'll see.
Yeah, it'll be good. So listen, the chat is already chatting, right? Urban Spinster says the pen got thrown before the verdict was read. Blame it on the hormones. I feel that. We know Cardi throws a mic, Cardi throws a pen, Cardi gonna throw Cardi, right? Let's see. I lost the person in the chat. They said something kind of crazy, and I was gonna ask them what. Okay. Shout out to that. Then we'll move on from it then. All right. So next up, shout out to Andy. Listen, the artist David, who I mentioned last week, his Tesla was found in North Hollywood with a body that was dismembered in the trunk. It was a female body, tube top, black leggings. Well, with a tattoo on the finger that says shh. Remember, that was a thing. Everybody was holding up their finger going shh, and people started getting tats of it. Well, turns out that a young runaway, her mother said that, I think that sounds like that could be my daughter. The tattoo sounds similar to what she had, and she had a boyfriend named David at one point. Oh, by the way, this young lady had been missing from Lake Elsinore, California since April. Her name is Celeste. And now, pictures of Celeste, who is 15 years old. Pictures of Celeste and David have turned up on the internet. As well as a song called Celeste, where he's talking about his undying love for this individual. Oh, by the way, remember, his first single was called Romantic Homicide. It's all not feeling very good for young David, who got his boost from TikTok and, like I said, has 30 million listeners on Spotify and is currently on tour. Oh, the tour has stopped now, though. He's been cooperating with police. The car was never reported stolen. What we do know about Teslas is that cameras surround the car. So in theory, this case should be relatively easy to close. We don't know what's happening now. These are just the individual points that have been shared with us. So they have the matching tattoos, the photos, the song called Celeste. Oh, David, he's 20. Celeste is, or was, 15. Think she was around 13 or 14 when she went missing. So was a runaway at some point. We just hope for the best. All right. We have Eric on the line from Carson. Eric, what's good? What's on your mind tonight?
Hey, Jill, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Can I do a quick retro from a conversation you discussed yesterday?
Sure.
I've been a Monique fan since the Parkers. I really love her. I think Yolanda said it best yesterday that she has no end game, and that's negative. And so, but I've never really been a Damon Dash, follower one way or the other. I knew he existed. and I heard all of the things that have been said about him and Jay-Z. But when yesterday, when you played the clip from his on the Breakfast Club with Charlamagne, I thought about something. This is your show. This is the Jill Munroe show.
It is.
When I call into your show, you're not interviewing me, but you're allowing me to speak on your show. And I've heard you do interviews, and the worst thing that you can do is to be disrespectful to the person whose show it is. So when Damon Dash is being interviewed by Charlamagne, and he tells him he thinks he's gay, and then asks him point out, and Charlamagne laughs it off and says no, and then he says, but you are, that is foul. And to me, to come on somebody's show and disrespect him, now I can believe everything that ever has been said. That's the most disrespectful thing that you can do to a man, is to call him out of his name, especially on his show. So I listened to your show at 4 a.m. because I was busy yesterday, but I had to call in and just say,
shout out to you to
Damon
still get
Dash
it in.
Oh yeah, he's foul to me with a capital F. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Eric. I appreciate
you.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, just one other thing.
Okay.
Charlamagne handled it well. Some people would have went off or got sucked in, but I think the way he handled the comment was classy, like you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm assuming it was a compliment. I appreciate it. Shout
was a compliment.
Shout out to Emotional Intelligence with Andy dropped in with. When we come forward, we're going to get DH's thoughts on this. You already know mine. Damon is continuing to play himself and play himself and play himself, and now he has Revolt making him look silly. Shouldn't have come to that. But we'll get into those details and more on the other side.
Are you ready for the hottest entertainment scoop in Los Angeles? She's bringing you exclusive interviews with today's biggest stars, behind-the-scenes Hollywood insights, and all the entertainment news you need to know. She's breaking down what's trending, what's ending, and what's just beginning in the world of entertainment. You're riding with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Protect yourself from Medicare card scams. Scammers may call, email, or even knock on your door claiming they need your Medicare info, asking for money or threatening to cancel your benefits. Don't fall for it. It's a scam. Remember, Medicare doesn't need to verify your information. They already have it. Medicare won't charge you for a new card and will never threaten to cancel benefits. Check your Medicare statements for suspicious charges and report scams to the California Senior Medicare Patrol at 1-855-613-7080. We're here to help. JP Morgan Chase offers tips for the local business owners in 2025. Small business landscape is ever-changing, and the Los Angeles market is no exception. A startup or legacy business, revisiting your mission statement and recalibrating offerings can renew opportunities for growth and innovations. Programs like Chase for Business Coaching for Impact gives entrepreneurs access to expert guidance, helping you streamline operations, strategize your growth, and navigate complex challenges. Businesses with a clear sense of purpose can navigate any challenge effectively, but also build stronger customer loyalty. Visit chase.com/coaching for impact for more information. This segment is sponsored by JP Morgan Chase.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Are you ready to be a part of the conversation that will help shape our nation's future? Get ready to join us for the Left Coast Forum, Saturday, October 25th at LA Trade Tech, where progressive voices will come together to tackle the issues that matter most to working families across Los Angeles and beyond. From economic justice to climate action, from healthcare to housing, we're bringing together the brightest minds and most passionate advocates for real solutions and real change. With workshops
workshops, 2 major keynote addresses, and a closing reception with great music and good food. It's the Left Coast Forum, where your voice matters and your ideas take action. Saturday, October 25th at LA Trade Tech. Brought to you by KBLA Talk 1580 and the LA Progressive. The future won't wait, and neither should you. Mark your calendar now to be there and be heard. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 for more details.
You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. So we were briefly getting into, what is happening with Dame Dash and Cam. I've seen lots of commentary on it, with some feeling as though the Breakfast Club was out of pocket. They weren't respectful to their guest. They were laughing at some of his responses, as they should have been, in my opinion. But, and also just in general that they were fact-checking and going after Dame, they felt, in a way that they hadn't done for someone like Ben Shapiro, who had been a guest on the show. So just overall, what are your thoughts, kind of what is happening with Dame right now and the way that he is handling his business and, clapping back?
I think he's doing it poorly. I think he's losing it. He's losing something. If I was to advise him from a brand marketing and, more importantly, a PR perception, he still has a place in our culture.
Facts.
He still has a place in our community, and his voice just needs to change. He needs to not be a grown man. He needs to be a mature man. A grown man is still have that fight in him. A mature man fights a different way, reacts and responds a different way. And he probably should reconsider his approach to things like the Breakfast Club, how he's interacting with old Rock Nation folks, the Jay-Z thing. One of the most beautiful things is when Isaiah Thomas and Magic made up.
Yeah.
Okay, that was iconic for us, and I include myself, during that time. More than the Jordan Isaiah thing that may or may not happen. I think that the culture, the hip-hop community need to see that thing that made Jay-Z a billionaire and originated from Dame Dash. Now, Jay-Z was talented,
but
Dame was smart.
Yeah,
he's
definitely
a smart dude. He was a business guy. That needs to make good. He shouldn't have any worry about financial stuff, given the pathway that he made for Jay-Z.
So let me ask you, because there's a lot of conversation around that, right? How much do you own a person when they dig themselves into something at their own doing, right? Like, we know the breakup of Rockefeller and things of that nature. But after that, Dame had other business ventures, right, that did not necessarily go in the same fashion as what was happening with Rock and Armadale and all of those other things before. At what point is it no longer someone who benefited from that responsibility? I know, people are people, but at what point is it like, I've given you the road, or, the door is open and you become responsible for your own actions?
Well, every person, man and woman, are responsible for their own actions and their own self. That's the first thing. I don't know where the line draws, but the numbers that I hear are nothing in terms of the financial stuff. But they are nothing, and it's keeping us consumed with that versus us getting better, because we over-index with heroizing.
Yeah.
So if you take away that conversation, then maybe we're thinking differently. We're thinking broadly. So I say it from that respect. I've had people in my life where I've cleared out they credit card debt. What is it? Let me go. Okay, you don't have to deal with that. Now deal with something else. Create another problem. But I think that it's not Jay-Z's responsibility at all. That's not what I'm sharing. What my hope is that.
No, but I was asking from it, because that's a conversation piece as well.
Yeah, and he shouldn't. It's his money. He do what he want with it. But you would think that first, it's the healing. I hope they would be friends regardless of what the financial thing is. I would just hope that they would show an example of some 20-year-olds that might be beefing like that, of a way that mature men, will handle it and ride off in the sunset. Now, I don't know what the issues are. Dame could have crossed the line, all that kind of stuff. We know that could happen. But dang, would kind of feel nice for me, a grown dude, a mature dude, to see that, like I saw Isaiah and Magic do. That was just something for me to say, yeah.
Or even Nas and Jay.
Exactly. That kind of stuff. When people get old, I mean, when you're 20, yeah, still fight, be stupid, all that kind of stuff. But when you get old, just let's get old and grow old together kind of thing. And I'm not saying pay his bills. Those are two separate type of things. But I think that Dame should get counsel from someone. If he listen, who knows if he listen? I don't know. He just seems angry inside. He seems, to question the whole masculinity thing. That you don't do that. You don't do that kind of stuff. Like you don't come like he said. You don't come to somebody's business and then all of a sudden, if you're gonna do it, you do it like old boy did, Birdman did. Hey, don't disrespect me and leave. But you don't sit there and categorically say you don't represent masculinity and all that kind of stuff. He's just hurting, and he tries to be intelligent about it, but still nice nasty. About it. So.
And Charlamagne kind of had him on his heels, because with the things like, we're not going to interrupt each other, then Dame proceeds to interrupt. Charlamagne pops back with the little things, or, we're not going to talk about a man that's not in the room. That's not manly. Men don't gossip. Then proceeds to bring up Jay-Z and do that,
Yeah, because Charlamagne, I think, he handled it okay, but he still got sucked in.
I mean, but I feel like he wanted to. I feel like he was primed and ready for that interaction, and Dame wasn't as ready as he thought. I felt like he got more under Dame's skin by not reacting than Dame did by saying what he said.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think you're right there. But like I said, just that whole thing is just interesting for two grown-ass men to be doing. And like I said, I would hope that as great as Dame was early with some of his leadership, I would love for him to
recapture that.
Yeah. He deserves it.
Andy?
Unfortunately, I think his style and his method is outdated.
Yep.
Yeah.
What was popping for him, that aggression was good in the 80s and the 90s, but 2025 we're soft now. And I also think that he's obviously stuck in his ways. And he needs to just understand that we are in different times.
Well, indeed. Okay, listen, do we have time to play the Steve Harvey clip, Andy? Okay, so Steve Harvey, daughter, Lori Harvey, she's dated some known individuals. And so Steve talks about the pressure of him as a public figure dealing with the breakups of his daughter.
See, I got to be real careful, because Lori, boy, she be in my... I can't make no mistakes. I can't make stuff. I saw one of her exes somewhere at a game somewhere, and I shook his hand. Boy, I can't even touch his no more. I better not acknowledge him or look at him or nothing no more. So I'm off limits. If you are ex, your ex is my ex too. That's the rule. The rule in our house is any boy that's an ex, he's now my ex too. I must hate him like we was dating. It's been hard, man, because her life has had to be played out in the public eye. Mm-hmm. People don't understand when, like you understand, you have an attractive daughter that's in the light, it'll attract a certain
demographic of men.
Yeah, certain cat, man. And cats that's got more know that they got more to offer, so they can come quicker. You know what I mean? So it's been difficult, man, watching her, but she's very smart. And everything they say online, I know it's never true. I hate it for her. But I think she's figuring it out now. I hope. And I think she's learned from her mistakes like you want your children to learn from their mistakes. But she's an adult. And I don't get a say-so in it.
So shout out to Lori for keeping her business a little closer to the vest now. We know that there are some relationships that are, power moves. But after a certain point, sometimes you got to shut it down, much like we were just talking about. DH, what are your thoughts?
Everything I heard Steve say was beautiful. It was perfect.
I'm
think.
sure you experienced some of that.
Yeah, I mean, yes. I mean, now he's right. He said it jokingly, but yeah, if that's the way the family gonna play exes, you don't acknowledge them. Period. That's just the way it is. But I thought it was beautiful for him to acknowledge that she's getting better. She learning. Her stuff is in the light. So it's unfortunate that some of that stuff has to happen. Some like he can't mess with Michael B. Jordan no more.
No.
So no, I mean that's a tough one. There's billions of men out there, but still, that's a tough one. That they can't. That he built this relationship with the dude and all that kind of stuff. But me as an ex husband, I don't mess around with the ex stuff. So I get it. It's just like that. We as humans. But I love what he said. I'm glad that Lori's being a little bit more under the radar with stuff, but it shows us that we just real people at the end, and we act like family acts, and a father and daughter and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's cool that he expressed it, and he knew we'd get into trouble and still talked about it.
Yeah.
So no, I like everything that's happening there.
All right, you guys. Damon Haley on Instagram. I'm at Stiletto Jill. Coming up next is Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. Back here tomorrow, 6 p.m. Good night.
Where can I start? Where do I begin? I feel the need to explain. I'll be the first to say life is good. But first let me tell you my pain. I've been around the world searching for love.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Black Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson signed an executive order directing police to